Hey y'all, today we'll be illustrating the fashion face. So we're gonna map it out. You can see here, I'm gonna block out some shapes. We always start with a circle. I use half the page so that I can scale this down and do a bit of practice. It's a little bit easier when you are working on a larger scale and then bringing that down as some of the features start to disappear. We're going to split this circle in half using cylindrical perspective. The bottom third from the top of this head, we're going to map out a chin and just kind of connect those dots for a jawline. Break this area in half to give ourselves a guideline for the mouth and split this down the middle. For the neck, I always like to keep that about like a half the width of the head. And for the eyes, we're gonna split this area into fifths. Sounds weird, but hear me out. So imagine there are two full eyes, and then you've got an eye in the center, and you got half an eye at either temple. For the nose, I don't get too carried away. You can work with that when you get into shading and mapping out the mouth. And this is like a connect the dots situation. It's pretty straightforward. You're just really mapping out those lips and adding in a cupid's bow at the very top to give it more definition. Ears are set just a hair above the top end of your eyes, and I always forget eyebrows. So don't forget eyebrows. They are the expression of the eyes, right? Or something. You get it. Next, you definitely want to work on scaling down your face. So this is probably about like a quarter the size. You can work your way down at like a half size and then a quarter. And later in the video, we'll work on of our 10 head figure size. And same approach, just kind of mapping out eyes. When it comes to refining, we'll come back to that a little later with markers and pencil when we get into the rendering bits of our tutorials. So here again, like the features are not that pronounced. I like to kind of train the hand and the arm to get into the idea of these gestures before I start to add too much definition. But you can see here, I'm just adding a little bit more depth so that I can start to map out and get a better idea for like where the hair will fall. I think the easiest way with hair is just to start with like a middle part, and that's gonna sit a little bit of ways from the top end of the head. So don't forget eyebrows. And there you have it. Last but not least, we're gonna work with the 10 head scale. So this is the same scale as our figure. It's about an inch and an eighth tall if you're using 11 by 14 inch paper. And same here, just kind of mapping out the full shape of the head, breaking down each section of where my eyes will be placed. And I kind of just make them almond shaped to start with. Again, this is something you want to practice again and again. Always use like real world reference because you shouldn't be drawing from your imagination. It's not Project Runway. You know, there's no cameras, there's no challenges, you're not in sequester. So be sure that you collect some images that inspire you, work with different features, different cultures, just to kind of diversify your portfolio and your fashion figures. But there you have it, just kind of sculpting in the cheekbone. And when we get into marker rendering, we will get all those details wrapped up. So good luck.